Okay, welcome to Carrot Cast solo queue number 2. We're going to do something a bit different today to try and mix it up rather than cast just Diamond and Master level games. I'm going to look at a Bronze 1/Silver 5 level game today, so I expect lots of action. But it's not just to have a laugh at the lower level of play, it's to see the kind of common mistakes that really everyone does, and the things that people need to iron out to get up to the higher levels. So on the blue team we have Master Yi in the jungle, Jinx and Leona bot lane, Vlad top lane and Ahri mid lane. And on the red team we have a Lissandra top, Morgana and Corki bot, Vi jungle and Akali mid lane. So we can see straight away that no one's really trying to invade. We're going to have Master Yi start at the Grump, which I think is probably suboptimal, both because Vladimir is not going to offer a huge amount of leashing, and Yi, with his fast attack speed, is really going to want the stun from the Krugs more. It will help him sustain better for his clear. So yeah, I'm not sure why you would start up there really. Straight away we can see that two of the red team have sat in the fountain for over a minute, which if there was an invade could be pretty bad for them. Vi especially is going to want to get a move on if she's going to get a leash from these two. But as I said, not a lot going on at level 1 really. So Vi's finally coming down to her jungle. Probably going to be a little bit late, which is going to leave these two behind in lane, which is something you really want to avoid. There's a good ward from Lissandra there to spot any invades that are going to be coming, which I don't think we will see any, but you never know. So yeah, good for Master Yi, smites the Grump straight away, so at least he's getting the full length of that buff. Vi hasn't smited hers, which means all this damage she's taking from the Grump, she's not really gaining from the poison reflection that she would get otherwise. And as I say, it means that these two have come to lane slightly late. They've already missed a creep, which with Jinx and Leona pushing, I would expect to see them get level 2 quicker. So Corki and Morgana really have to respect that, especially with Leona having the Targon's Relic Shield rather. They're definitely going to be able to push this lane faster. Vlad also stayed far too long to leash that, so Lissandra's got an advantage in the top lane. See, they've hit level 2 straight away, and Morgana's not respected that. She's pushed up and she's going to get caught here, and that's first blood straight away, easy as that. And that's really what happens if you don't respect the level 2, especially with a Leona. I don't know why Corki is still trading here. That was a deep dive, she didn't hit him. Well, she's going to go down, and Jinx shouldn't have still been under that tower, so for all the advantage they would have gained from that level 2, they're actually now Corki's ahead in items, so that's bad. Akali wasn't behind that minion, but she's not going to get punished too hard for it. So see Vita's come across to her red buff. She's not gone back and upgraded the jungle item, so she's going to be very low from the clear, and not really ready to gank straight away at level 3. I mean, she's living dangerously if she does, shall we say, but it looks like, no, she's not going to go for a full clear. She's going to come and try and gank this top lane, which isn't too bad, as Vlad isn't particularly threatening. Especially with him pushing in with no ward down. I mean, 3.5–4 minutes is really when you want to be dropping your ward in the river top lane, because that's the time for the junglers, and he's done that, and he's going to spot her out, so no gank happening there. So she's going to look to the mid lane where Ahri's pushed up. Akali is backing, so there isn't really a lot of kill potential for her here, I wouldn't think, and yeah, that's a good ward into the river that's going to spot Vi. So nothing happening there. Now, this pink ward is a bit deep really for the red team to be putting down. It's very easy to clear for the blue team. Really it should be in this river bush if it's going to be anywhere. You can see that Leona's should... No, she's not going to go and clear it because there's perhaps a threat in the lane down here. But this is what I mean, the red team have no way to protect that pink ward now, so it's essentially a wasted 100 gold if they don't keep me pushed up to the turret and manage to get that. It's a decent binding from Morgana, but Corki was really too far away to follow up on that. Jinx coming back in allowed him to pick that up, but they really could have punished Morgana for trying to follow in on that binding on her own. Really, as soon as she came in on that, Leona could have locked her up while Jinx backed off, or Leona could have got in on Corki faster. I don't know what she's doing, probably flaming Jinx right now. So she's going to lose half her health for that. But still should be able to soak the XP under the turret if she's careful. This ward should really have been cleared out by now. They've had plenty of opportunity to do it. But now, because the red team's pushed up, they in turn can come around and clear this blue ward and maintain vision. I mean, even Yi could have gone in, shown and done that there. It wouldn't really have cost them anything. I don't know about the two wards in the bush. Maybe that's just a spectator bug, because that seems a bit strange. So Yi is just soaking up the farm in the mid lane, which is good. There's no reason for that to go to waste at all. So yeah, good job there. Now Lissandra's hit level 6 here before Vlad, but she doesn't really seem to be making any moves to try and push that advantage on him. I mean, she can close on him quite easily. If he pulls away, then he's going to lose 20% of his health straight away, and she can ult him as soon as he comes out of it. But now he's level 6, that's dangerous. As soon as Ahri hits level 6, she goes in on Ahri, which is good. She's trying to make the most of that power spike, which Akali at level 6 is pretty huge, and not enough to tower dive quite like that, but yeah, she tried. Tried to push that advantage, which is what you should do as Akali really. As soon as you hit level 6, especially before you're laning, that's an awful lot of damage you can put down on them and force them to back off and possibly be another level behind by the time they get back to lane. So Vi's sticking around to try and gank this bot lane, but without being level 6 and the fact that they know that she's there, she's never going to be able to pull that off. That pink ward is still there. I don't know why Leona hasn't cleared this yet, because Jinx can play safely for 5 seconds while she goes to do it, and it would open up the opportunity for Yi to gank. I mean, it doesn't look like he wants to, but there's no reason to leave that ward there for as long as they have done. So Akali's coming up blue. I'm not sure about that really. The thing that is often overlooked from a jungler's perspective is the fact that these buffs give an awful lot of XP, and someone like Vi, who's quite ult reliant to gank, certainly could use the extra cooldown reduction. So yeah, I'm not sure about giving over to Akali, who gets a little bit of CDR and the energy regen from it, which isn't such a huge deal for Akali really. But it's been done. Skirmishing continues in the bot lane. They're trading back and forth quite heavily. Now Morgana should, if they keep pushing this, Morgana should hit level 6 before Leona and Jinx, which means they've got potential to all in. She doesn't have a flash, so that's out, but that's a good binding. Good trade, but Corki should really be kiting back and hitting the Jinx now. Yeah, not chasing the Leona. Again, I just don't think that Corki is respecting Leona's range at all, and the amount of damage that Jinx and Leona can do together is huge with Yi there as well. They did finally get that ward. Just see if Yi killed it on the way in, actually it would have given it away. No, okay, that had already been cleared out, so that's a good gank. Yi just hit level 6, so he's got Highlander. Yeah, I mean, walking up to Leona when you're not really going to be able to kill her without taking some of the damage back probably isn't the best idea, and that's an easy double kill. This is where I think lower levels of the ranking system don't play to the map, because you've got the double kill bot lane, so the bot lane's not here to defend this dragon now. I mean, they might not know that Vi's topside, but they've still got at least a 2-man advantage if they went for the dragon now, so that's practically a free dragon. But they're not going to go for it. Jinx is just going to push the lane up, which is good, because now Corki and Morgana will miss this golden experience, but it's about taking what's available on the map. You could also argue that they could have pushed that tower with Yi and Jinx, so that's 2 objectives that have gone begging really. Vi spent a lot of time trying to gank this Vladimir, but they should be able to lock him up. But that's some miscommunication there, which happens in solo queue. I think Lissandra could have dived that then, and got away safely, but maybe didn't want to risk it, which is fine. Yeah, okay, the creep wave was taking the aggro, so she could go past the tower safely, and that's fine. So it's often said that you should aim, I mean at pro levels, to have 10 creeps per minute, which I think is quite unrealistic, especially in these solo queue games where there's a lot less coordinated play obviously, and there's a lot more aggression. People tend to fight for just about everything, so I don't think having 69 and 68 CS as AD carries is terribly bad at 10 minutes. They've both died twice, so they're going to have lost that to start with. I mean, you could argue, of course, they shouldn't have died, but they have done, and they seem to be farming pretty well despite that. So that's not an issue, really, to me. The mid lane farm is really quite low. I think Ahri's rightly scared of Akali. But times like this where Akali's shrouded, if Ahri had got a pink ward and dropped it there, then she's got a lot better chance to fight back. I've just missed the double kill bot lane again. So let's see what happens there. So again, Morgana's got a good binding and gone in. Leona's gone in on Corki while Jinx is trying to fight back, and he just comes in and cleans up. Corki's quite unlucky there not to finish Jinx off, but I think the red team are honestly quite unlucky with the timing of these. Yi always seems to turn up at the right time, which is good, and they're going to go and take the Drake now, which is what they should be doing. I mean, Jinx is pretty much left stranded to deal with Corki in 901. Leona tries to lock him up, and Morgana in the face as well. So yeah, I suppose you could say it's quite unlucky, especially that you pick up a kill on Jinx. But this is what happens if you don't have vision. I mean, they can't really have vision behind that tower for Yi steaming up the lane. Perhaps they shouldn't have picked the fight to start with, but these things happen. So I don't think it was a terrible misplay, and it was good of the blue team to think go and pick up the Drake off that. So I don't know about this. He doesn't have his ultimate and he's trying to fight Vi one-on-one. I'm sure he could pass that off as a bait potentially, but I don't know about that. At least Jinx should pick this up now, because yeah, Vi wasn't getting away from there. She didn't have flash. Corki tried to follow him to help. Alone again. He does pick up Jinx and he's going to manage to get away with Valkyrie, so that's good. Questionable, I would say, to go up there on his own, but at least he's made the most of it. I don't know about the exhaust just to snare Leona. They could get punished for that in future. Good binding, and Akali picks up a kill there. So this is just a bit of a crazy series of events. I mean, Yi should never have been trying to fight by there. He should have tried to kite back towards his team and disengage that. If it was a bait, then he certainly shouldn't have been trying to fight her in the middle of the river on his own. So, he's going to Akali, and again, if he had a pink ward, or we can't have oracles by this point, but that's what they should have in future, then he possibly could have killed Akali there. But if she can just shroud and walk away, then it's a wasted opportunity. And I think that's a lot of the reason why Akali gets out of hand in many games, is that she's allowed to trade in shroud and not take anything back for it, which is something that you really have to punish her for. She doesn't have many weaknesses, but that's one of them. So we see Vi's in the red side jungle, and she's going to come in from behind, so well, there's no reason for her not to gank down this path here then, because a lot of people will expect ganks from the river bushes, and often there's wards put in these two bushes, or in this one here. But if you're coming up from here, there's no reason not to follow the path up there. So again, I've missed the fight bot lane. Let's see what happens here. So blue team have no vision here. I mean, Vi could be anywhere. I lie, there's a ward in there that was covered up, so they know Vi's not going down the river. Blinded from Morgana to lock up Leona. I don't know where she's going with that ultimate. Corki's got greedy and Valkyrie right into the chompers. There's no need for Jinx to flash there, she was already dead. So it's a wasted flash from Jinx, and Corki just getting a bit too greedy, really trying to kill Jinx, and he's Valkyrie straight into the chompers, which roots him and allows him to pick him up. And Vlad's trying to get a kill here with his ultimate, but nothing happening there. It's a bit of a waste of a teleport, really. And now Lissandra's free to push this top tower. So the thing about teleport is it's a great tool to have. It gets you back into lane faster if you're losing trades, or if you need to back, you don't lose any minions for it, and it also allows you to make plays all over the map. But I think the difficulty is deciding when to use that teleport to make plays elsewhere. You can use it quite safely to teleport back to lane and just maintain your experience in gold. But if you're going to use it elsewhere to make a play, then someone like Vladimir, who doesn't have any CC, you're going to find it hard if your team aren't already there to follow up. And if Lissandra's already pushed up to your tower, then you're losing your tower essentially for nothing, and now your teleport's on a 5-minute cooldown as you've teleported to a ward. So, I mean, that's something that he's really been punished for. And again, it comes down to decision making, which obviously gets better the more experience you've got and the more you play, but that was certainly a poor decision. So now Lissandra's done the right thing, she's rotated down to another lane, there's no pressure on her tower whatsoever, so she's trying to gain an advantage somewhere else. Vi's killing the crab around the dragon, and there's another fight in the bot lane. Again, I think Morgana's just gone far too deep. Especially when they had vision of Vi in the river. I guess she thought she was going to come back in and help there, but Morgana is still a mage. She's still squishy. You can't just run into two people and chuck your ult on and everything's going to be alright. Especially Jinx and Leona, who, like I say, have so much damage potential. That was a failed fight mid. Happens here. So again, like I say, right of Lissandra to come down and try and push this tower. As she comes off into the river bush, not where there's a ward there, to try and make a play on Yi and Ahri here. Ahri misses her charm, so yep, that's the time when you can punish her. She's got no real comeback to that without a charm. So Lissandra's just E'd over that wall. She could just as easily have walked around, so that's a wasted cooldown that now she can't get away from Yi with it. And this is just really disjointed. She's horribly out of position. Ahri lands a charm on Akali, and now she's not got her escape, and she's 2v1. And that ult is nice in a team fight, but if you're 2v1, it's not really going to do a lot to save you. I think she probably would have been better off ulting one of them and trying to buy a bit more time to escape, but obviously that wasn't happening. So yeah, red team did the right thing here. They got the kills. Well, they didn't get the kills, did they? Something happened. Sorry, it's hard to keep track of everything here. And they managed to pick up the tower, which is good pickup, and Vlad's managed to push the mid lane tower. So this is again making the most of your advantages. When you get kills, you've got to take the objectives on the map. This is quite simple to do for the first towers. Everyone seems to get that. It's when the first towers are down that these things tend to stall, and it's very difficult to make decisive plays for a lot of solo queue teams. So Ahri Akali not respecting the charm at all, and she takes the vast majority of her health and damage there and gets away. Okay, he flashes into that and manages to get the kill because of Jinx, thankfully. Vladimir fails to flash the wall. I don't think he really should have been flashing that wall anyway. He was never going to catch Morgana. And, well, that's a deep dive considering you don't have vision of the rest of the team. That's the kind of thing that happens. If I didn't need to flash there. And I think, again, at lower ELO, this is something that players need to pay more attention to, is that they need to have more respect for their summoners, because flash is incredibly powerful. It's also on a 5-minute cooldown without the masteries in the utility tree, which a lot of people won't take. And you really need to use it to either get in position for a kill that you know you're going to get and push an advantage off of that, or you need to use it to dodge CC as it's coming, or skill shots that would otherwise do a lot of damage. Just flashing then, there was no need to, because there was not really anyone that she was in danger from. Leona was dangerously walking up the river to try and get vision on the dragon then, when she already knew that they were up here. I don't think the ult on Leona was needed. It could have gone badly for them had Jinx turned it round, but no, they pick it up, and now they've got a free dragon, essentially. No one on the blue team is going to be able to contest this, so they should just get in there and take it. Yeah, Ahri should just push this lane up as safely as she can, which she has done. Yi is split pushing top, which is fair enough, because there was no way he could have taken that dragon on his own without a hero steal, which isn't always the right decision to make. You can't always be a hero. So it's just about taking the advantage that they've got offered to them, which is a free tower in the top lane. Now, I don't know why Ahri and Vlad are continuing to push this so aggressively when Yi is top and they've got 2 people in base. This could easily go badly for them. They have no idea where Corki and Akali are. Their vision is really quite sporadic. These wards down here would be okay if you were pushing bot lane, but I mean they're not. They don't have any vision around here except one ward in this bush here, so they could come from anywhere. Yi's just far too overextended and easily killed in the top lane. He does nearly get the tower, so you could argue that it was a gamble he wanted to take, but yeah, he gets punished for it. I mean, going back to, let's say, Morgana's flank round, which has got a binding on Vlad, just chasing down Ahri with no follow-up at all, so that's dangerous. She's eating the charm for it. I don't think she's going to die, but still, it's dangerous. It's about knowing when you can do these chases, where the other team are. That's, again, that flash from Leona to go in and lock them up is kind of crazy, because there's no one anywhere near in range to follow up on that. Jinx shouldn't be in the front line. It's just a messy fight and poor decisions again. If we just go back and slow this down a bit. So Morgana's come all the way around the side. Blue team have no idea she's here. She's going to catch Vladimir out, but they have no idea where the rest of the team are except that he's dead. So she's got her ult on. She thinks Vlad's locked up, so I'll carry on the chase on Ahri to get the stun off, which is fine if there was any follow-up to it, which there isn't. And now Leona's coming in and she could jump on Morgana here, but she's not going to. So Vlad's been killed off back here, so they know it's 3-3 essentially. But Ahri and Leona are on full health. Jinx throws a rocket in and chunks them all to low health, so Leona thinks that this is a good opportunity now to go in and clean them up, except there's no one anywhere near to follow up on this. And she's gone way too deep. I don't know whether she thinks she's just going to get the kill on Akali, which is crazy because of her spellbound and the amount of retaliation she's going to take from everyone else. Ahri comes in with a good charm there, but the Jinx should not be up in the front line. They should have disengaged this a long time ago. And yes, she gets a kill for it, but she's going to die for it as well. And now, yeah, Ahri's going to die as well. That's shut down gold onto Akali, which is just about the worst champion you could give it to. And now, although they're low, and Yi being the janitor he is, still waiting for the janitor Yi scheme where he gets a mop instead of a sword, he could come in and potentially clean this up. So it's quite dangerous really from Corki and Morgana, but they feel 3v1, they've got a good chance of taking this tower. That was just again using the skills at the wrong time, really. That was always a risk of that happening, but they could have assumed that would happen and played it a bit better. With champions like Yi and Zed who disappear while they target onto you and then reappear at a location, you want to save any gap closers or gap creators, in this case escapes, for when they come out of the animation. If Zed death marks you, you want to wait until he appears behind you, otherwise he'll just follow you to wherever you land, and it's the same with Yi's Alpha Strike. Morgana then binded him and walked straight up into his face, which is exactly where he wants you to be, and Vi just doesn't have the damage to deal with him while he's got Highlander up, so it's just messy decisions that could be ironed out. There's nothing mechanically difficult about the plays that could be made. It's just general game sense and knowledge of how abilities work, essentially. Now Jinx is in here trying to steal the blue buff all on her own, because she's already got 7 kills. She does a lot of damage and is going to walk away with that, but otherwise I would suggest probably quite a dangerous thing to do. They did have the pink ward up here for vision, but it doesn't cover around this corner. So we've got Vladimir teleporting in here again, but he's just in the middle of the team on his own. There's no follow-up from anyone else. Morgana's again gone really way too ham with her ultimate. Pick up Jinx, Morgana dies for it. And again, he is just going to come around the back and clean up because there's no CC, there's no way to stop him.
Blue team triple kill.
And really, it's just about chasing far too deep with the limited knowledge that you have. If we go back and watch that again, so let's move it up a little bit. So you've got Jinx coming in here. She doesn't know that Lissandra's here. She doesn't know where anybody is because this ward doesn't give any vision past the wall. But she's going to try and take this blue buff. Lissandra didn't need to E into her there. She's rooted her. She doesn't have her ultimate. She doesn't have it. She's just used Ignite, but she doesn't have enough to finish her off. So, yeah, it's about treating ability cooldowns with respect, and that E was essentially wasted to get onto Jinx there. She could have just walked up to her if she wanted to, and then had the E to escape when she overcommitted to something she couldn't win. Jinx has taken the safe way out round the back, but now this means that with 2 top, they're essentially 2v3. So Vladimir's going to teleport in and try and even this up, but he is miles away from the rest of his team, and that is an easy kill. Jinx does finally arrive, Zap misses everything. She wasn't really respecting Akali's dash range there, but Morgana flashes in with the ultimate. Akali's going to easily clean up Jinx. There's no protection for her at all because Leona's doing things over here. Okay, to lock down Ahri, but she has Spirit Rush to get away from that. But again, Yi's just come round the back here. There's no vision, no idea of where he is at all, and he's easily going to clean up these 3. And with champions like Poppy and Yi who are going to want to flank your backline. You really can't chase where you don't have vision of. I mean, okay, you're having a fight around here, Morgana's flashed in, she's locked them up, but you don't have this tower yet, you have no wards down here, the creeps aren't pushed up, so you have no knowledge of anyone coming around here, you don't know who's in this bush, you don't know who's in this bush, they could come from really any direction, and you've got no way to counteract that with all your CC used. And it's just really a playground for a Master Yi to do whatever he wants. So this has become really quite a scrappy affair now, as you would expect, I guess. The farm scores, this is where farm scores start to fall off and people don't really continue to farm. There was absolutely no need to teleport there from Akali. Again, it's ability cooldown, so she could have gone and pushed top and had a teleport to come down to Dragon. I think she's going to pick up a kill on Ahri here though. Just not respecting the range of her dash and how sticky she is. So, technically the teleport did pay off, she got a kill out of it, but you could argue that that mistake wouldn't be made further up, and so it's not really a win as such. Good ult from Jinx, good chompers, Lissandra has to flash that, but Zap's going to pick her up, and well, it's the power of Jinx chasing. But as I was saying, it's about what is a mistake and what isn't, what is the optimal play with the resources you have. And the teleport top lane means you could have pushed this lane down and then still had a teleport to come down to Dragon if needed. Instead she picks up a kill, but Jinx picks up two because they were hanging around the Dragon pit when it was nowhere near coming up, so either they didn't have the time or they just didn't check for it. I'm not entirely sure what that was all about. Meanwhile, Yi manages to pick Corki off on his own down here, which split pushing without vision is always going to be a dangerous game. So I mean that's good split pushing from Yi. He's pushed the wave up into the tower. He's got this ward here, so he will know if anyone comes down this way. Anyone coming down the lane isn't going to catch him anyway. But now he just walks straight into Vi, who he knew was there when he had no chance of protecting that ward. I don't think Vi should flash to stick to him there, but she picks up the kill because Yi failed his own flash, and now red team are going to get a free dragon off of this. Or they should do anyway. You never know how these things are going to work. I don't know if that ult was a miracle steal attempt from Leona, but now if a fight were to break out, she doesn't have her ultimate, which is huge in the team fight. Good charm to get Morgana there. Ahri really, yeah, she needs to be locked up better, but she does a lot of work on the back line as Akali's do. Yeah, if Leona hadn't altered the Dragon Pit, she would have had her ult for this choke point here when the team fight broke out, which would have been infinitely more useful in stopping Akali rolling all over Ahri. And again, it just goes back to using your abilities properly or valuing them to the extent they need to be valued. Leona's ult is on a very, very short cooldown. I believe it's about 60 seconds with any amount of CDR. Let's just check what it's on at the moment. So yeah, 71 seconds. I usually max CDR when I play Leona. But still, if there is potential for a fight there, and there was because Ahri caught the charm on Morgana and thought it was a good catch, then Leona really needs that ult to peel and set up opportunities for a team, which they just didn't have. So the AD carries both fairly equal, within 6 CS of each other, same kills, same assists. They've also both died the most, which, well, apart from Morgana, like I said, is going way too aggressive with their ultimate, which I think is just the thing with AD carries at lower levels. There's not the correct positioning, they chase far too deep, so Ahri's missed the charm here, so there's not going to be a catch for a while. I mean, they were doing fine. Just wave clearing under the tower. Akali had no need to go in there. She's baited Lissandra to a death as well. Probably Vi's going to die as well. And that could even be an inhibitor or Baron off of that outplay. Just because Akali got too greedy, essentially. So if we find that again, still getting to grips with this replay system, as it were. So Akali dodges the charm there, which is fine, and if you're at a numbers disadvantage, you've got Corki in base, and you've got 5 blue pushing mid. All they need to do here is wave clear, which is really, really easy with Lissandra and Morgana. Jinx pushes towers fast, but if they keep clearing the wave before it even gets there, it means that Leona's going to have to come over and do a tank it. But Akali thinks the Shroud makes her invulnerable, goes in on the Ahri. I think she does. Yeah, they do get a kill on it, but they're 3v5. Vi's just come in. She's going to ult onto Yi under tower, which is good, but there's just way too much damage and way too much lockdown from the blue team. And taking that 3v5 was really suicide, and this is the kind of mistake that's going to get really, really hard punished at higher levels. I don't know whether it necessarily will be in this game, though with 3 minutes left you would suggest that it probably is the case. It's good they've stuck around, they're using that, they're not just going off to farm the jungle. They know that they've got a huge advantage here and they're going to take the mid lane, hopefully as far as they can. Corki is just no reason to be there whatsoever. There was no way he was going to single-handedly protect that turret. And it's just easy mistakes like this that really snowball games out of control. Very, very easy things to fix if you're looking at your own gameplay, and something you should be aware of. I mean, in typical solo queue fashion, he was probably sitting there thinking, my team, but still. Yes, what his team did was bad, but standing there and getting caught for free was even worse. Jinx has done well, rotating bot there, noticing the creep wave was pushed up to take the turret. So Leona and Ahri really just need to disengage this now, which they do. Thankfully they've not gone back in on that. Okay, Jinx rocket was nothing. Corki shouldn't be chasing this. Jinx will absolutely destroy him if you want. No, she won't. I'm wrong. If she had her ult, maybe, but I didn't expect Corki to win that fight at all. So good. Lissandra picks up Yi. They know Jinx is dead, so it's a 4v4 at most. Okay, that's good. Lissandra should just be backing off here. There's nothing more she can do. Good. So they need to get back now and clear this top wave. Mid lane is going to keep pushing now because the inhibitor's down. Bot lane is pushed up past the river, so that's fine. That'll continue pushing to the turret and then bounce back if it doesn't get the turret. So all they need to do now is wave control, and they need to try and get some vision of these jungle areas so they don't get caught in rotation between their lanes and don't completely give up map control to the blue team. I mean, at 30 minutes into the game they are 8k behind, but that's not terrible. They've still got a very, very fed AD carry. Vi is extremely strong. Lissandra's got enough utility to do whatever it is she wants to do. She's got a Sonya, so that's no problem. So yeah, red team are pinging Baron now, which they've got the waves cleared, which is fine, but they've got absolutely no vision around the Baron, so they're going together. That's good. Don't need 2 wards in the pit. I don't know really what that rocket was from Jinx. They had an idea that they weren't killing Baron, so they didn't need to fire that and hope for the steal. Now, there's no CC here to stop Yi, so he's fine to go in on that. Corki and Akali are going to really struggle against him, and that will probably be the game, just off the back of that. Yeah, so simply just being all kinds of out of position, really. So okay, they've checked around the dragon area, they've got a baron area, they've got a wall down, so they've got vision. People are spread out all over the map, bots pushing for blue team, so all they need to do really is sit here and wait. They've got control of the baron area back, they could sweep that out if they want to make a pick, but because all of the CC of the team is over in the jungle here, and they've got a ward, they know he's free to just come in and completely annihilate the carries with really no retaliation. And yet they're still trying to flank round into the team. They're not retaliating against the blue team that are fighting them. This was the right way to go for Vi. No problem there. It's just everyone panics, it spreads out, and that's the kind of fight that a Yi is going to thrive in, really. You just can't give him that much space to run all over your team, and that is going to be the game, I expect. So yeah, nothing more to say here. The farm levels, like I say, were really, they really do drop off towards the end of the game, which is a decision-making kind of thing. But when people are getting caught out and there's fights happening all the time, that's something you can't really help. I mean, if in laning phase your farm is good, then, you know, mechanically you're able to CS. That's not really a problem. It's finding the opportunities to do so without your team doing something daft. In the rest of the game is where I think a lot of lower level people fall down, but that's something that will come when people get caught less and when your team knows how to respond to things correctly. Prime example being if a wave was pushing one of the side lanes that needed clearing while 3 people are wave clearing under mid tower, not getting caught and not starting a fight as 3 would be something that I would expect from most higher level players, but obviously it doesn't happen in low level games. Aside from that, it's just poor decision making, and respecting your abilities and the power that they have, because wasting any kind of ability, as people come to understand the game more in higher divisions, can be punished so heavily. For example, an Ahri missing her charm against the Zed would be immediately altered and probably killed by the Zed if she didn't Spirit Rush away. So you've really got to respect the cooldowns of yours and your opponent's abilities and summoner spells, and not just use them frivolously on the chance of gaining something. So I apologise if this was a little bit incoherent. I've got some distractions, and it's my first time really trying to do this type of replay, but I thought rather than just cast solo queue games at diamond level, we'd try and have a look at the common patterns and mistakes that happen at lower levels. So we do 1 division a week or something like that, and see what improves as you move up the ladder and what it is that you should improve if you want to move up the ladder. So thanks for watching, and I should have another video soon.